Welcome to the Social Gravity Podcast. My name is Vic. I'm joined by my good friend, Cayden. What's up?
Excited to be here, man. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. If you are joining us from TikTok, welcome. We got some new friends from TikTok. How about that?
Yeah, I love it. We went slightly viral. I don't want to push it up too much because that's going to become a regular thing for us. So I don't want to hype it so much. But yeah, we had a lot of new people joining us from TikTok, which is cool.
So welcome if you're from TikTok. And hey, if you're just from YouTube, welcome. Today we want to talk about a couple things. We got a couple things on the radar here. The first one, do you want to tell the people what we're going to be talking about?
Well, the first thing that I sent you a link on Facebook Messenger the second I heard about this, because I was like, we just talked about this on the podcast 3 weeks ago. You know when you have an idea and you're like, oh man, this is such a cool idea. And then you see someone did that idea 2 weeks later and you're like, oh man, I missed the boat. But all I'm saying is we found there's a thing called BitClout, which I guess is the new up and coming way to invest in creators and artists and whoever. But I feel like you now know a bit more about this than me, Vic. So
I just went over the white paper.
Yeah.
Just to kind of really understand it. We did talk about this a few weeks ago on the podcast where we feel like you should be able to invest in creators' success. I was saying how, if I would have invested in Drake back in 2010 when I would have, if I could have, I'd probably be a millionaire right now. There's no way, or there was no way to do that. Then NFTs came around. That's why we were talking about it. But now there's this new platform called BitClout. Essentially, it's a brand new blockchain that is completely focused on creators, online creators, and you can invest in the creator themselves, their channel, their posts, specific posts. You can even bid on placements for their platforms. You can even be such a good investor that you get priority status in their inbox. It's really cool. I'm not going to lie. It's really cool.
So take a guess right now who you think has the highest priced coin on BitClout.
This might not be a full guess, but I'm pretty sure Elon.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's Elon Musk right now at $86,000. And I'm assuming that's for a coin or whatever. I'm not sure the exact. Okay. Just hit buy right now and find out.
So this is how I understand it working. You have to have Bitcoin first. The Bitcoin, you buy the BitClout, which is their cryptocurrency. Their cryptocurrency is called BitClout. Once you have BitClout, you can then purchase creator coins. So you can purchase an Elon creator coin. You can purchase a creator coin for maybe one of Elon's tweets. Anything in the sphere of Elon, of Kanye, of anyone, Beeple, Logan Paul. All these people are on here. What's really cool too, what I really liked, was how they kind of preloaded the platform with people, but they have this little clock icon beside their name, and that means that they haven't yet confirmed that they're going to be on the platform. And the way that they do confirm is they actually have to tweet their public key, and by doing that, then they are validated as the profile owner. And I don't know. I think it's really clean execution. I really think it's cool.
It's smart in the sense of how many times the biggest downfall of new platforms is how we get users on. How do we get people to start on this, right? Mm-hmm. It's weird when you discover a new social media platform and you sign up and you're the only one on it.
Right.
It's like, okay, what do I do with this? But with BitClout now, they're already, even though Elon Musk isn't an active user of it, whatever that even really means, you can still invest in him, right?
And also, just for making a profile, you become a creator that has your own creator coin.
Yeah.
So Social Gravity, we're going to go ahead and make a profile in the next few days. And by doing that, we have our own value and our own coin. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool from the standpoint of how many times we had discussions with people, especially about music artists, where it's like, oh, I was on him before he was popping. I knew about, well, now you can kind of prove it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like this is actually one of those crypto opportunities that makes a lot of sense to get into early. And if you haven't checked it out, we'll drop a link down below for BitClout. And like you said, so it's funny when sometimes you have these ideas and you're like, oh, I missed the boat or whatever. But in this scenario, I mean, you don't have to be the creator of it for it to benefit you. You can get on and just pick the creators or the artists that you think are going to be blowing up in the future and really get ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused about the whole, like, what users are verified and so forth. Like, we talked about how they have the clock next to their profile. Because, like, for example, I'm looking at Logan Paul's right now, and he still has, like, the clock where it says his profile is reserved. Same with Jake Paul, but I've seen them talk about it a ton. Right. So I don't know. I don't know if they're waiting for like a price jump or something, because I know Jake Paul was like, buy now because I have this fight. So maybe after the fight, he's going to like verify it.
Yeah.
It's still slightly confusing to me, but.
So I did read something in their white paper about a reward for the creator. So they must get a certain amount of minted creator coins. This is just my logic going off right now, but they must get a certain amount of creator coins or reward once they verify that it's them. So they're probably trying to drive the price up as high as possible before doing that, because they know that there's a pot of gold waiting for them. But it's like every coin in that pot can be worth way, way, way more if they can drive the price up before getting in, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you can take the time to figure this out now early, because the majority of people, when they're going to see this, the first response is, I don't get it.
Right.
Like, it will take some user learning here for sure to start off. I think in 5 years this will all be very normal, but this is definitely new stuff. Like, for example, we've had many discussions about NFTs. If we talk about NFTs in the sports world, I know that the NBA specifically, they partner with a company, Top Shot, it's called. And I'm literally on their website now, and I was checking it out last night, and you can buy like highlight clips from NBA games of certain players. And the prices are crazy. Like, I'm looking at this one right now. It's like over $1,000 for this one player's like dunk highlight, and he's not even like a super big player, right? And I'm just wondering first off, who's buying this? What is this all hype? The resale value of these type of things? It's interesting for sure.
I just feel like there's so much money floating around right now that
Too much.
there's just all these crazy things that people are willing to spend money on, because there's always that feeling, especially over the last year, where if I put like $1,000 into this, it could turn into $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Like, imagine putting, $100K into Bitcoin when everything started last year. Wow.
Yeah.
You would be probably close to a millionaire, I would think, at this point.
I like the idea of owning popular memes that have gone around. Like, I know one guy, going back to sports, he bought this meme that goes around Twitter a lot. It's a GIF actually of like LeBron getting like just smacked in the face by a basketball when he wasn't looking. And I'm like, that's such a cool thing to own, you know?
But at the end of the day, the NFT thing still doesn't fully make sense to me in the sense of ownership, because like, you own the experience of enjoying it without actually owning it. So if the whole economy goes under for whatever reason, I know a lot of people are speculating that it might in the next short period of time or semi-short period of time. Those are going to be extremely hard assets to get rid of. Like, when people are fending for themselves, fighting to make ends meet, do you really think they're going to pay like $10,000 for a little clip of LeBron getting hit in the face with a basketball? I don't think.
Like, I'm just going through these right now, and the price tag on these are insane. Like, I'm watching one, it's a LeBron James 3-pointer. So it says LeBron James 3-pointer base set series 2 common. So there's 15,000 of them, which I don't understand that at all either. How is there 15,000 of a clip?
Well, it's like a share. So it's like a share of a company. There's a certain amount of shares issued out from a company whenever they go public, and even private companies have shares that you can buy privately. But with an NFT, it's like, okay, they mint this object, and then you own almost like pieces of it in the form of a share.
So it says lowest ask is $568 USD, and then the top sale was $70,000. I don't get that. Am I a boomer here for saying that?
No, I think it logically doesn't make sense. And the thing that I just first off, there's investing into things that make sense, but you don't understand. But then there's like investing into things that they don't make sense and you don't understand it. I see NFTs and it's so funny. This is becoming like the NFT podcast, right? I see NFTs being valuable when we have virtual worlds. Yeah. Then it makes sense.
Yeah.
But right now,
it's a little early.
You can look that video up on YouTube. Why do you need to say you own it? Yeah. You're not LeBron.
Yep, it's strange for sure, but anyways, let's stop talking about NFTs. I want to ask you something, Vic, because you've just started a new journey, we'll say.
Yeah.
And you actually I think you put out a YouTube video about this before, right? Going a little bit deeper.
I did later last week.
Okay.
I put out a video just kind of explaining what's going on.
So check out that video first. But while I'm here with you in person, you've started now the 75 hard challenge.
Yep.
We are on day 2, I believe.
Day 2, correct.
And have we still succeeded?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
So basically, you got to work out twice a day. One of them has to be outdoors. Got to drink a gallon of water. I got my gallon right there. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I only have 30% left, probably. Yeah. You got to read 10 pages of a book. I do that often. Got to stick to a diet. Actually, I just got the notification on my phone. Follow a diet from the 75 Hard
app. What diet? That's the thing. It's not really specific. You can follow really any diet.
Yeah, you can. My diet specifically is low carb, high protein. You can't have junk food. You can't have alcohol.
Yeah, because there's no cheat meals, it says.
No cheat meals.
Whatever that means to you.
So cheat meals for me is going to be like junk food. It's going to be fast food. And you know what? I'm the type of dude that I eat lunch and I want to go have like a Rice Krispie square or something, but now I can't. Yeah. And then I got to take a progress photo every day as well. So it's 5 things you got to do. And it's been going well, man. It's been going well.
No, I think for a lot of people that it's a huge challenge. I think for both of us and you, obviously you, that it's not the biggest jump. I think we've talked about this. The biggest jump for you is just the time management of doing an hour and a half of your day reserved for working out. That's a pretty big jump.
And also I still meditate every day for about 20 minutes and I'm learning Italian and I'm doing that every day as well. Yeah. So now it's like my life is just strict time management. I got to be mapping everything out precisely. The one caveat to 75 Hard, if you don't know, is that if you mess up one thing, you have to start at day 1. It is extremely cutthroat. So
yeah, it seems like it's more of a mental challenge than anything. I think even the creator, I forgot his name, but the guy who made this challenge was talking about this is a mental toughness challenge more than anything.
And that's really what I need right now. Like, I don't really need a fitness challenge. I don't need a diet. Like, I have 12% body fat. I'm happy with the way I look. It's just I want this to operate on a much higher level because 2020 was a pretty tough year. And like we were saying on our accountability group, was it yesterday? That 2020 just lowered all the pressure. Like it just took the pressure away from being a man or a person in society.
Yeah, right now for everyone, anyone can use the excuse of, oh, we had a pandemic, so I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And some of those excuses are valid to some degree, but all that pressure you had, either self-inflicted or from others, a lot of it got lifted because, again, everyone can use this excuse of, well, yeah, like I was going to do this business or I just started this or I was losing weight, but, the pandemic hit, we locked down, it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I was saying to you and a bunch of other guys yesterday, I'm like, yo, we can't be using this anymore as an excuse. This is just part of the reality. We got to keep going. Mm-hmm. I know it would be so easy for all of us to just be like, hey, we're went into another lockdown. It's time. Hey, what can I do? Yeah. But for you, hey, it's like this is the time to do 75 hard. You know,
I've just removed the thought of lockdown out of my mind. Like to me, it's all the same now. I just feel like things are in my mind back to normal, even though they're not. Even though we still have to wear a mask, we still have to follow these restrictions. But to me, I'm just completely done being a victim of whatever society has created. And that might be one of the biggest problems happening right now is that people are victimizing themselves. And the thing that happens when you become a victim is you start blaming other people and other the government or your employer or the pandemic or whatever. You're blaming and you're not taking responsibility for anything. And sure, there's definitely scenarios that might make sense, but at the end of the day, you control your actions, right? And it goes like this. Whatever you think about is going to create your feelings. Whatever you feel is going to create your actions, and then your actions are going to create your results. So I've tried to remove thinking about lockdown because I don't want that to affect my results.
Yeah, it's very stoicism philosophy, right? Which I think is very powerful. The idea of anything that I do not have direct control over, I'm not going to waste mental capital on that, right? It's because at the end of the day, it's like so many people, you worry so much about all these things that you literally have no control over, and it's affecting all the things you do have control over, all the actions you could take. So that's really stoicism philosophy. It's like, you know what? Lockdown happened. There's nothing I can do about this, and there's no point. You just accept it, and then you move on with it.
Right. Another really interesting thing about me doing 75 hard right now is that it ends the day before I get married.
Yeah.
I didn't plan that. It's just literally going to line up. The day of my wedding, June 19th, is the day after I finish 75 hard if I can get it done.
Yeah, that'd be a little rough if it was right in the middle because you can't take a day off. So you could do it still, but it would just be a little funny. But I think I bet that once you're done this, that even after, a lot of those habits are going to stay through, right? I think it's whack to have a goal like that and then, 75 days is over and then just go back to whatever.
Yeah,
right?
That's definitely not, like, I'm trying to do something that affects me and has a ripple effect for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And you got a bunch of other guys that are doing it with you too.
Yeah, I definitely tried to recruit because I know that the power of, a communal effort is going to be much stronger than just one person trying. So I got 3 other guys, other friends doing it. And then, you're doing similar things.
Yeah.
You're not specifically doing the 75 hard challenge, but I mean, you work out once, twice a day. You're reading.
Yeah.
You're drinking a ton of water. You do anything.
Yeah, it's about being self-aware too. Like this is something I've thought about doing for a long time, but I realized this moment I didn't feel like it was right because for me, moderation is something I'm trying to get better at. So the idea of being extremely strict about something, actually, I feel like is a little bit counterproductive for just me where I'm at right now. One other interesting thing that we talked about yesterday in our group, and I want to bring up again, is that making your goals public is so helpful in your journey because like right now you have just announced on a YouTube channel, on the podcast, multiple people that you're doing 75 hard.
Right.
So if day 37 comes around and you mess up, it's a little bit embarrassing on your part because you've just announced to the world that this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And there's so many of us, we have goals, but we keep them to ourselves. But then that makes it real easy to be like, you know what? Like imagine if you did 75 hard, but you told no one. Like you didn't tell your fiance, you told no one. Well, on day 28, if you decided, you know what, I'm not going to finish that gallon of water today. Who's gonna, like, no one's gonna call it, no one knows, right? It's just you, and you might feel bad about it, but it's a lot different when the whole world is aware of what you're doing.
Yeah. And I think it has to do too with like, I committed, right? I'm not doing it for anybody else. Like, I'm doing it because the result that the creator of it, Andy Frisella, the creator, he said, this might be the most powerful thing you ever do in your life. It's going to change the way that you behave. It's going to change the way that you enter into complicated and difficult situations because you are going to have basically this shield of armor around your mind because you've had to endure these conditions. You've had to endure burnout and fight through it and just push yourself to the next level. And a lot of people are going to hear that and get scared. But if you want to win and if you want to dominate in whatever field you are trying to dominate in, then this is the way to get there. And sure, there's other ways to get there, but this is the way to get there. And when I heard that message, it was about me. It wasn't about like, oh, this is going to be sick when I'm done and I can post this photo on my IG. It was like, that literally never crossed my mind. Completely 100% me. And the only reason I made videos, the only reason I got other people on board with me, it wasn't because I'm like, okay, I want accountability from other people. It's more like I want other people to level up as well.
Yeah.
The people in my circle, I want them to be on the same level as me. So like if you want to join, join. Let's let's do this.
Yeah, it's interesting with that challenge how the majority of it relates to your physical health, right? But it shows that I was saying this to my trainer today. It's very rare that you see some ripped, jacked dude or girl, and they're like super physically healthy, but then in other areas of their life, it's in shambles. I'm not saying there are people like that, but I'm saying the majority of the time, if you are a person who's really focused on your physical health and you have that correct, the odds are you're going to be able to handle all the other things in life as well with your business and relationships and so forth.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a correlation because you have to like train yourself to do things you don't want to do. And that self-discipline plays out in business. It plays out if you're in college, university. It plays out in a lot of different arenas of life, really. So, if you are feeling, and I've said this in the other video, if you're feeling like, damn, 2020 got the best of me. I was a level up, and now I definitely had a level down because the pressure got relieved off of me. Look into 75 Heart. I know it's scary, but I'm doing it. I'm still surviving. We're doing a podcast today still. Like, I still got time to do this, right? Yeah. So it's any human can do it. There's even pregnant women who have finished it, believe it or not. Pregnant women.
I think it's definitely a challenge. I don't think it's actually the most... There's two things about that I think are the most difficult. It's the time management and the no cheat meal part of it. Probably I feel like is the most, maybe for at least that would be for me, where it's like going the whole time and never having one slip up. That's probably the biggest hurdle, I would say.
I feel I'm pretty good at that element now, more so just not having slip ups, because like I've meditated daily for almost 3 years, and ever since the start of the year or so, I've been learning Italian every day, and that's even difficult. So I feel like with stringing days together, I don't have a problem. I'm worried about when my body gets burned out. That's my biggest worry. But it's not like you have to go super hard every day with the workouts. Like, you can do active recovery days.
Yep.
You can do yoga, you can go for a bike ride, you go for a walk, things that are more chill. But that's my biggest worry is like, man, I hope my body can handle this. That's my biggest worry.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where even if you get to a point where you don't think you can, to take a David Goggins quote, he says that when you feel that you're at your 100% physical max of what you can do, like, I can't take another step. He's like, you're only at 40% of what you're capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. That I totally believe in that. And I used to like be in the gym. I remember we used to just go overboard on the elliptical, which sounds hilarious because the elliptical is like, kind of soft, but we used to go hard overboard on it, and we'd be like dripping sweat, just pushing each other, me and my one buddy, and I'd be like, we're literally only at 40% right now, man.
I today, right before this podcast, I did a workout with my personal trainer, and we were doing a back workout, and he's like right in front of my face as I'm like doing like a row exercise, like I'm just like pulling this weight back, and it's like, it's so intense. I got to a point where I thought I was gonna cry. Really? I was like, this hurts so bad. But when you have another dude like right in your face and he's like, you got more in you, and I know I did, it's just like, hey, if I cry, if I throw up here, like whatever, I know I can still do it, right? It might suck. I didn't cry, but I was like, that hurt.
So I think the biggest thing that like makes 75 Hard so important is just the proof that your body is 100 times stronger than your mind. Like, your body can endure so many things, but your mind has like a capacity. It has this limiter on it where it's like, no, right when we're a little bit uncomfortable, we're going to tell the body we're done. But you could go way higher.
Well, your mind works based off previous experience. So if the furthest you've ever run is 10K, when you get to 10K, your body's like, okay, we're done. Like this, we don't know, because it gets scared about survival instinct, right? And the whole point of your brain body is to protect you from dying. So once you hit that 10K, your mind's like, okay, past this point, you could die. We don't want to do this anymore. But that's not true though, because you don't know experience. And it's one of those things where I remember when I was really taking running seriously back in the summer, I never did, I never went past that 10K mark, and I was trying to hit a marathon. And I remember I did 10K, and then like 3 days later I did 15, and then another 3 days I did like half marathon. Like I did that in a week.
Yeah.
And I remember doing that half marathon, and like the last 5K, like it was something just came over me where it's like I am in so much physical pain, but I'm like, I'm just gonna do this. I'm going to finish. If I collapse here, I collapse here. This was gonna happen, and I did it. And then 2 weeks later, I did 30K. Like, it just shows how, again, your mind limits you.
Yeah, 100%. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know that you had that.
Yeah, it was quick.
Evolution there.
Yeah. No, I don't suggest everyone to do that, but it's a total mental game, man, with that stuff. It's amazing. Now you got to be smart as well with some things, because I don't encourage everyone to just get up and run a marathon. You could. I genuinely believe everyone right now could stop listening to this podcast, which you shouldn't. But when the podcast is finished, get up off your couch and run a marathon. You like physically could. It might take you all day.
Yeah.
You might have to walk it. Oprah did a marathon. She did a marathon and it took her 6 hours. She walked it, but she did a marathon. So I'm just saying, like, it's possible.
How long is a marathon?
It's 42 kilometers, around that.
Wow. So in miles, roughly, do you know that?
I think it's like, it'd be half. It's like around 21. How long is?
I don't know if I like.
I'm just, but again, it's that limitation of your mind.
Right.
So where is miles? It's 26 miles.
Okay.
I know it sounds nuts, but I'm just telling you, it's like every one of us, I believe you can run a marathon. It's definitely mental. You might hurt, you might get injured, you might do that, but you could do it.
See, and this is where I know you're right, because my mind right now is saying this is something you need to prepare for. Think about all the other times when you push yourself, you need to prepare for it. Like, but that's just the limiter of my mind. Yeah. Like, that's my mind being like, yo, like, dude, slow down.
I'm not saying it's a smart decision. I'm not saying that you're not going to like maybe hurt an ankle or maybe break a bone. I don't know. If you just have never done any cardio training before and you go out and run a marathon, you could hurt yourself.
Right.
But first, in a survival instinct, you can do it. You could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I want to switch gears a bit here.
Yeah.
And I want to get a bit about more business topics.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. So right now, we're kind of reforming social gravity. We're getting very, very, very specifically into lead generation, specifically in the medium to higher ticket lead generation. I want to talk about lead gen. I want to talk about different methods that businesses can generate leads. And what's funny is that, like, on our set right now, we have like multiple lead gen offers that I've taken up. And I'm looking at one of them right there, that book, Sell Like Crazy, the red one there. You want to point at it? Yes. That was a free book offer that I took from Sabri Subi, who runs King Kong, which is an agency in Australia. I'm pretty sure too, I have a couple more here. I have Expert Secrets. These are lead generation tools where, they're making a book to generate leads, obviously, which is probably the highest level of it, but it comes in all shapes and forms. So I kind of want to discuss what are some different lead generation tools or strategies that, we've found interesting or we've opted in for because they were just really good. Do you have anything that comes to mind?
Well, so right now it seems that the biggest way that people do lead gen, at least for like, let's say collecting emails, is, hey, here's like you mentioned earlier, here's a free product, right? Mm-hmm. Usually a virtual one. Here's a free free video, free newsletter, free PDF book.
Right.
Just give us your name and email and you have this, right? And then from that point, they have your email forever, and then they'll just sell to you forever.
Yeah.
I just know that email right now, I know a ton of people that I've found through Twitter, email seems to be a huge way that people are still doing lead gen. There's so many softwares out there about scraping emails and getting emails of like the direct people you want to talk to. Because at the end of the day, it's very easy nowadays to get leads, but the real question is, what quality of leads are these? Mm-hmm. I was working with someone recently where they were running Facebook ads, getting a ton of leads coming in, but they were just so cold. Like, you would call them up and they had no idea what this was, what you're talking about. Yeah. And at that point, to me, it's like, okay, well, are we just wasting our money here?
Yeah, because like what I'm trying to focus on right now is like, what are the best ways that we can entice, bring in leads, and then have them remember and have them show up to a sales call, right?
I saw something really interesting from an individual where he was saying that the rate of calls, like people who schedule calls after like getting their lead gen, is slowly going down because people just don't want to get on the phone anymore, right? Even like now when we get a phone call from a friend, it's like text me, like, why are you calling me? Just the phone conversation is like, as we go on, is slowly becoming less and less a thing people want to do.
Right.
So he was talking about, okay, well, where are your customers? They're texting. So like SMS text services and those things might be even a smarter way now versus the status quo now of phone calling and doing that kind of lead gen.
Yeah, just the one thing with sales calls is like sales calls are kind of there, or even getting them on the phone. That's designed to sell them on the phone, which really is way, way, way more efficient, at least from my opinion, than trying to close someone through SMS.
Yeah.
But I will say, in comparison to SMS and email, for example, an email average open rate is about 20 to 30%, where SMS open rate is about 90 to 95%, which is just astronomically higher, right? So it's a great investment to get an SMS. And we've actually built an SMS system for a pretty big enterprise and 5 of their franchises, and we're just wrapping up that project this week. So this is some new ground that we've touched based on, and I'm really excited to see the results of it.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. And going back to the idea of like, okay, what's the best lead gen system? I know another market that I'm interested in that I, to be honest, haven't tapped into enough is LinkedIn. I know that's a big one that people use. Like I hear all the time. It still seems like a thing that people really haven't utilized as much as they should. Everyone wants to go to the Instagram and TikToks, but there's like some high profile people when you want to get those high quality leads, high ticket leads on LinkedIn and so forth.
So I think the LinkedIn dilemma is there's kind of 2 avenues on LinkedIn. There's LinkedIn ads, which from my research are the most expensive leads you can get. So when you get a LinkedIn lead, like someone to opt in, it's probably going to cost on average about, I think it was $32. Where on Facebook, just with my most recent tests, we were getting opt-ins for about $7. So we're looking at a pretty big price difference. The other way on LinkedIn you can go is through their sales navigator tool, which essentially allows you to access more detailed data of the users. But you got to ask yourself, man, like, do you use LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Do you?
No, but I'm saying I think that there is a niche of people that, I don't want to say it, but that do
that use it.
Yeah. So and again, these are a lot of times maybe more people that would be interested in more high ticket offers potentially, right? It's not the masses. Now, I'm just spitballing here. I don't use LinkedIn like that. All I'm saying is I do know a lot of people who recommend using that as an option.
Right. Just for good traffic. My questions are coming from more of like, okay, traffic side, when they get there, wherever you're trying to bring them, what is going to make them convert and show up? That's really, really where my mind is, because traffic sources will come and go. On this show in particular, we've talked about TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. Now we're talking about LinkedIn ads. I mean, the ad platforms are going to keep growing abundantly. There's going to shape shift on who's the dominant ad platform. But what really matters and what I'm learning is that you can drive traffic, really good traffic. But if the back end isn't set up for conversions, isn't set up for persuasion and commitment, then all that money is wasted.
Yeah, you have to make that process as simple as humanly possible, right? Because, and this goes again to how important it is to be producing content, whether you're a personal brand or a company, because you want to make fans, right? You want to show, I always call it irrefutable visual evidence, IVE, that you are an expert in your field. So it's like give away everything that, even things that you would have in your offer, just like tell that information, because people will still buy because they want to get it from you. They want to have that connection with you personally.
Yeah.
So like there's so many times where I have followed someone or a brand on social media and I just like love their content, consume it all the time. So when the time comes that they actually put out an offer, they have my full trust already, because I've learned things from them for free. And I don't want to bring this person up again, but I will. Gary Vee's concept of jab, jab, right hook, right? It's like give, and then throw the right hook, which is your offer.
Yeah. I actually was watching a seminar from Dan Locke, which is another kind of sales influencer guru guy. And he said that he gives out everything for free unless it costs his time. So everything he does, YouTube, podcasts, books, everything is free unless You need his time one-on-one. Then you're paying a very, very, very high price, like $100,000, $200,000 a day.
And the thing is, people will though, because again, people are afraid to give away free things, free information, free products, whatever. But then the day is, you can give someone all the tools in the world, but they might still not act on it. And they're going to feel frustrated because it's like, I have the knowledge. Why can I act on it? And that's when you're like, hey, do you want me now to like come alongside you and let's do this together?
Right.
And once you built that trust with all that information you've given, showing you're an expert, and you make that back end so simple, it's a close.
I think also too, you need to focus on a transformation, because people don't want a service. They want what comes from that service. They want to be transformed. They want their business to be transformed. So when someone comes and they say, yeah, we need, for example, social media marketing, it's like, you think you want social media marketing because you think that's the vehicle to get to where you want. But what you actually want is an easier way to sell or an automated way to sell, right? And so by focusing on the transformation, you kind of skip those levels, right?
Well, here's a good marketing lesson here, where so many times individuals who have personal brands or companies, the mistake they make when selling is they talk about themselves. They talk about, this is our product, this is our service, this is what our social media service will do. It'll give you this many likes and this much engagement and all that. But instead, what you really should be selling is, you sell them on what will life be after we're done working together, right? What does this engagement bring to you in your life? How will you benefit from this? How will it make your life easier and better to do this, versus, hey, this is our service, this is what we sell, this is how cool our company is. You don't sell yourself, you sell the result for them of what they're going to get working from you.
Right. And even with what you said about the evidence, or like social proof is what other people will call it, is you're not just, you might be showing them what you've done, but what you're really showing them is an example of the transformation. Like, here's proof that the transformation can happen. Because really, like, even why do you do anything that you do? Why am I doing 75 hard? I want a transformation. And if we just focus on that, we can achieve such higher results, because people just want to either evolve or have something better than what they have right now.
A perfect example of this kind of marketing strategy, going back a bit to like the physical health side, there's an individual named Grego Gallagher. He's from Toronto, and he has a brand called Kino Body, and he sells like workout programs, all that stuff. He's a fitness guy. But his ads for his workout programs you can buy online, when you watch his commercials on YouTube and stuff, his commercials, it's not him at the gym sweating it out or all that. It's him at like a dinner with all of his friends and like girls around him and stuff, and him like being able to like have a fun lifestyle. And it's selling this idea of, hey, if you're like in this sick shape, this could be your lifestyle, right? Which again, it's a bit what's the word, like, not totally truthful, because you can be ripped and not have that. But he's selling this idea of like, you'll get girls, you'll get all these things, and sure, corny, whatever. But again, it's selling, what is this result going to get you? What is you eating this way going to get you? You know?
Yeah, and exactly. It's all about that transformation for his strategy. But I think today was a pretty good conversation. Talked about BitClout. We talked about lead generation. What else did we talk about in the middle there?
75 hard.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week on the Social Gravity Podcast. If you have not yet, hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment about whatever we talked about, your own opinions. We love to hear it. We want to respond to everybody. And we'll see you soon. Have a good one.